It's not too often a major political convention brings a person from obscurity and places them square in the center of the political universe. But that's exactly what happened to Khizr Khan and his wife Ghazala on July 28th, when they stepped onto the stage on the final night of the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia. And he delivered a show-stopping speech aimed at Donald Trump.
Our son, Humayun, had dreams too of being a military lawyer, but he put those dreams aside the day he sacrificed his life to save the lives of his fellow soldiers. You have sacrificed nothing and no one. We cannot solve our problems by building walls. Donald Trump, you're asking Americans to trust you with their future. Let me ask you, have you even read the United States Constitution? I will gladly lend you my copy.
More than 6 months later, Khizr Khan is fighting on. Last night he spoke at the Harvard Kennedy School, and he joined me after. Thank you so much for coming. Everyone back at my work wants to know if you carry your Constitution with you. Do you have the Constitution with you?
I normally keep it safe, tucked, but because you asked.
I knew you would. After you spoke, you were brutalized in many quarters. We know what Donald Trump said about his sacrifices compared to your son's. Steve Bannon's Breitbart, here's a headline. Khizr Khan believes the Constitution must always be subordinated to the Sharia. Do you have any regrets about, you called yourself a private humble man, becoming a public humble man? Do you have any regrets at all?
Not at all. The purpose that we stood, it was the care of others, the small children, as I mentioned earlier. The small letter that we received from a small child, her class fellows have written, "We love her so much. Can you please make sure she's not thrown out?" This was just a threat.
It's a Muslim American child.
Muslim American child. It is for them that we stood. It is for the small children. And to answer your letter, the Sharia law, look, and I want to say it very deliberately, very clearly to the ignorance, there is no such thing as Sharia law. My Constitution, Constitution of United States, guarantees the protection. There will be no Sharia law implemented in this country. The reason for that is these hodgepodge of laws in Muslim countries that these ignorants keep calling Sharia law. Those are not Sharia laws. Those are laws of put together by French, by British, by Portuguese, left in those countries. Those are against the equal protection of the Constitution of the United States. I teach that to the judges. These ignorants need to hear that from me. I teach that to the judges when these documents from other countries are presented in front of them as Islamic documents. Those are in violation of equal protection of law.
We know how you felt about candidate Trump's Muslim ban. President Trump says what he signed a couple of Fridays ago was not a Muslim ban. It's a travel ban to protect this country. What was your reaction when you first heard him say those words?
Immediately I thought of Rudy Giuliani's statement. I thought how much malice, moral compassless Donald Trump is. Moral compassless this administration is. Listen to Giuliani, what he says. Giuliani says, Donald Trump asked him, "I want to implement Muslim ban. Show me the legal way." Then he says, no, this is not a Muslim ban.
Do you look at your son's sacrifice any differently in light of what Donald Trump has said about Muslim Americans and about Muslims throughout the world? Do you feel any differently about it?
Not at all, not any differently, but his grace, his light is brightened. And People have asked me, where would he be today if he was alive? And I always tell them that because we had personal no need for becoming so public, speaking so publicly. We did that for the sake of those small children, to hearten them. He would be standing right on my left shoulder with his hand on my left shoulder. That is how we greeted one another. And he would be saying to us, this is the way to show care for others.
You know, Khizr Khan, you said something like, which stayed with me, with hard work and the goodness of this country, people like us are allowed to share in it and contribute to its blessings. Do you still feel that way?
I will always. I am the most grateful citizen of this country, of this nation. I always feel that way. Look what my family has done. I have 2 other sons, bright scientists, contributing to the medical sciences, discovering treatments of illnesses and diseases. We are continuing to contribute.
What do you say to a person who shares your view of Donald Trump and puts a hashtag on their tweet and says, "Not my president"? What do you say to that person?
Well, I don't say anything to that person, but I say to Donald Trump, don't make us declare you illegitimate president. Your actions are moving this nation in that direction. Be mindful. Don't make us boycott everything Trump.
You said he has no moral compass. Do the 62 million people who heard him ridicule a reporter from the New York Times, heard him say again that his sacrifice creating jobs was comparable to the sacrifice of your son, what do you think? Do they have a moral compass, those 62 million people?
They were defrauded. They are discovering it, that this is nothing but an huckster, a fraud. They were defrauded. Now they're realizing they are worried about their health care. This is not heartened them. Now they're realizing that this turmoil was nothing but for this candidate's own benefits. But look, we live in a democracy. In democracy, we all have our preferences, our rights to vote whoever we wish to vote for. So I respect their decision. Leaving them aside, but this fraud had been committed on this nation. This fraud, for example, this Muslim ban. Men and women, my sons and daughters serving overseas, are the most at risk. Most at risk. The people that support them in those countries in harm's way have felt that they should not be loyal to American forces. Within America, alienating Muslim community, other administrations, George Bush administration, Obama administration, had joined hands with Muslims to make sure that we eradicate the homegrown terrorists. By his foolish behavior, in the name of security of this country, he has alienated most of the Muslims in this country. How does it serve the security of this country? Look at the experts of the security, experts of the institutions of security of this country. They all have said that this puts us in harm's way.
You know, talk about that little child whose classmates wanted you to provide comfort for her for a moment. When a young Muslim kid says to their parents or to you, "I'm scared. I'm worried that my mom is going to be sent out of the country. I'm scared to go to school." What do you say to that person today? What do you say? What do you tell them?
Well, I say to them, even today I encounter that in various gatherings. Parents bring their children. They come, they meet, I greet them, I hold them, I give them a hug, and I tell them, show them the protests that are taking place so they don't feel they are alone. Majority of this country is decent, caring, reminded of the values of pluralism, of equal dignity, equal protection. So when they see this crowd in every city, crowds of people that are standing up for Muslims, standing up for this illegal rhetoric of Donald Trump. They feel heartened. They say, we are going to be okay.
Khizr Khan, the last thing is virtually all of America knows how your son died, but almost none of America knows how your son lived. Tell us something about him that we don't know that mattered to his siblings and his mother and his father that you'd like us all to know.
At his burial, you have to forgive me if I lose my composure, there was an 8-year-old boy in black suit, black tie, white shirt, black shoes. As we buried him, this child comes forward and he salutes Captain Humayun Khan. We were curious, who is this child? After the burial was over, we approached his parents and he said, oh, whenever he needed school help, we lived close to the dorm where Humayun Khan was. He would take him, not only do his homework, he would take him bike ride. He would take him for jogging. He would not ask us for help in schoolwork. He would always wanted to go and spend time with Humayun. And he said, we wanted to bring him to the funeral. When we told him, he was very sad. We told him, we are going to the funeral, come. He said, I will not go like this. Take me to buy me the suit. I want to wear the black tie. I want to wear the white shirt. I want to wear the suit so when I salute him, he would know that I respected him so very much. It is that there are a story after story after story of his. We were blessed to have him for 27 years. We are proud that we were blessed, we were gifted to have him for 27 years. It is said that parents teach their children. In this case, it was other way around. He taught us
well, he was
how
blessed
to care
have
for
you.
others.
Khizr Khan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Whether you agree with Khizr Khan's politics or not, I hope every person with a child listened carefully to what he just said about his.